of 584 million Ghana cedis. These are state entities under the State Interest Governance Authority, SIGA. So these persons are running businesses on behalf of you and me, us. They're running it on behalf of you and me. Now, if you found yourself having to buy shares in Ghana based on what you see, the question is, would you be prepared to invest your money in Ghana as an entity? And so this morning, in shaping the conversation, Raymond, we want to look at what the financials are of some of these state institutions. We have a copy of the 2019 report. We've been studying it. Share some of the findings with us, Raymond.
Okay, so you did mention, so this is the state ownership report.
Yeah.
And I'm happy you made the classification clear. The report covers 106 entities made up of 47 state-owned enterprises, 27 joint venture companies, and 32 other state entities.
Yeah.
So the other part that we should know deeply that the 2019 report, and 2019 because it was before COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, 2020 would have been a COVID year, so it may be unfair to use that to judge any state institution's engagement. And 2021 would not have been out here because we are just in 2022. So we're looking at 2019. But the report itself gives you a view of what's happening from 2015 to 2019, which is a bit more in-depth analysis of the financial performance, the key issues, and the policy measures being implemented to improve the performance of these institutions. Now, the preface to the report states something interesting. It says it is a continuous source of worry that state-owned enterprises and joint venture companies are still recording losses. That's what the report says. State-owned enterprises and joint venture reported these losses also in 2019. In fact, it says here, while majority of state-owned, and that's the clarification that's important, while majority of state-owned enterprises and joint venture companies have consistently increased revenue, their failure to contain significantly high and ever-increasing costs has largely accounted for the losses they continue to report. Let me pick out, and I'm just following the order that some of them have been provided because they are in alphabetical order and the detail is clear. Let's look at, say, Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited. Now, BOST was incorporated in 1993. It's a limited liability company with the government of Ghana, being state ownership is 100%. Now, the company's mandate is to develop a network of petroleum storage tanks and pipeline infrastructure throughout the country and to keep strategic stocks of petroleum products for Ghana. The company's objective include the development, as I mentioned, to develop adequate petroleum storage, transport in the case of barges, BRVs, and also pipelines, and also add logistics infrastructure to meet the current and future requirements. They also manage the strategic reserve stocks of fuel, which is petroleum, gas oil, gasoline, and kerosene, at a minimum of 12 weeks to ensure regular and adequate supply. Again, it's the work of BOST to actually import petroleum products to ensure fuel security in the country and to export to neighboring countries to improve revenue. On the whole, and I'm bringing up this is because it's important. What's the financial performance of BOST? This report is based on the auditor report for 2015 to 2018. But if we pick out where it talks about the revenue and direct costs, the revenue from 2019 was largely increased by 60% from 327 million in 2018 to 524 million in 2019. The revenue increase was attributable to, petrol and diesel sales respectively. The revenue from petrol and diesel declined by 85% between 2017 and 2018 before the increase in the year 2019. The company recorded direct loss of 143 million between 2019 and 2018. the cost of petrol sold and the cost of diesel sold made up a combined 2% of what we are talking about here. In all, the important point here is that's on profitability. Bust negative EBIT margin improved from a negative EBIT margin of 52% to a positive of 3.59. Now, the net loss margin is also presented here. The most important part of this conversation is that Bust made net loss of 88.39 million. Bust, it made a net loss of 88.39 million. The silver lining to the conversation here is that this was a slight improvement for what happened in 2018. And that the situation was worse in 2018, and the improvement can be accounted for. Its liquidity and also profitability has also improved one way or the other, and it has also improved its solvency position in some ways. So while on the other side there seems to have been some slight improvements, the company Bust made loss of 88 million. I'm moving on to others, so that let me deal with.
So you're saying that the bulk oil storage and transportation company Bust
yes
made a loss of 88 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
In 2019.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Can I verify something? Part of Bust's revenue is a levy, isn't it? It's from a levy that we all pay.
Yes.
When we buy fuel. So whether Bust works or not, they get this money from all of us. And in spite of that, they still manage to operate at a loss.
And most of the losses they are saying here is from operational cost, which was a bit high. In fact, there's something that we should keep in mind. Whilst many of these companies have made revenue, within the period they're talking about, it's the operational cost that's really driven down
so
the loss.
In the end, their balance sheet shows a loss.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's what I'm saying, that in spite of the fact that a levy is collected from all who buy fuel in Ghana, and that levy is given to Bust for them to use in their operations, in spite of that, on top of the business that they actually conduct, and by the way, they are a monopoly in the business they conduct. They don't have competitors. They are the only ones who provide that service. Am I wrong about this? So, in spite of all that, they still managed to rack up such high operating costs that they recorded a loss by the end of the year. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, let's continue.
Now, ECG. ECG started operations in 1947 and was responsible for distribution of power in the Gold Coast at the time. Then there was a change in there. The operational highlights of ECG are pretty clear. ECG purchased a total of 8,627 gigawatt hours of electricity from bilateral contract market, representing 71%, and purchased supplies from the wholesale electricity market. So we draw down to their turnover was 7.4 billion. The operational cost was 967.
967 what million?
969.27 million, yes. And there is more to it. Their net loss was 922.59. Of course, the working capital is actually represented there in the negative too. The specific financial performance is written here. The financial analysis for ECG is based on the audit report. ECG recorded fluctuations in revenue with direct cost exceeding revenue in both 2018 and 2019. General and administrative expenses increased consistently over the review period, resulting in a worsening net loss margin between 2018 and 2019. And let's not forget this, because it's one of the few institutions that made losses, and yet the losses were worse off than the previous year, because many of them improved, like Boston, ECG.
But ECG didn't improve.
It didn't improve, as is being stated here. And I repeat, said general administrative expenses increased consistently over the review period, resulting in worsening net loss. And it talks about general revenue, and also the report makes reference to direct costs. The direct cost, ECG recorded 15.10% increase in direct costs from 7.8 billion in 2018 to 9 billion in 2019. Power purchases, which constituted the largest proportion of direct costs, increased by 21% between 2018 and 2019. Direct costs increased consistently throughout the 5-year review period, indicating an increase in 193% between 2015 and 2019.
Right.
So that's the ECG situation there.
So it's worth noting that ECG is the largest employer among the SOEs. It employs 6,422 people. Okay.
So general profitability position is this. ECG recorded 11% improvement in net loss from the period of 2018-2019. This resulted from a 31.61% increase in reevaluation gains from in 2018 to 2019. Net loss, ECG's EBIT margin also improved. And there's a point about ECG recording current and quick ratios of 0.49 and 0.47 in 2019. Solvency also improved in this case. So that is ECG. In a nutshell, ECG's net loss was 922.59 million. That is ECG. Now I'm moving on to others. I'm actually skipping to. So, well, I wanted to do a lot of the energy ones, but let's look at Ghana Airport Company Limited.
Okay.
Now, Ghana Airport Company Limited had a turnover of 781 million. The operational cost was around negative 628 million. The net loss was 189 million. 189.66 million. That was a net loss for Ghana Airport Company. And if you want to know what Ghana Airport does, it manages airports such as Kotoka, Wa, Tamale, Sunyani, Ho, Kumasi, and other airstrips. The functions of the company are that it develops and manages and maintains airports and airstrips, provides rescue and firefighting equipment and services at the airports, provides safety and security for aircraft, passengers, cargo in accordance with the best international practices, coordinate operations of agencies that provide support services at the airport to enhance overall efficiency, and facilitate aircraft, passenger, cargo, and mail movements. So that is the issue to do with the Ghana Airport Company. And if I just drill down to the point I made, the net loss is 189.66 million. Now, one other institution that made some net loss is that of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. The net loss is 0.28 million. And even though it had improved its situation, and the report identifies that it had improved its situation compared to previous years, it still made a net loss.
Okay.
Now,
about 280,000 cedis.
Yes.
Okay.
To the other companies that are on the list that are worth mentioning, one is the Ghana Commodities Exchange. The Ghana Commodities Exchange made a net loss of 0.88. If you want to know, the GCS business operations consist of an advertising network powered by a trading system provider, and exchange-related warehouse storage operations through an electronic warehouse receipt system assisted by collateral services money. The main objective of GCS is to connect Ghanaian smallholder farmers to the agricultural and financial markets in Ghana and throughout the West African region in order to ensure that Ghanaian farmers secure reasonable prices for their commodities and provide good quality. And it made net loss. Once again, one point that needs to be established is that the net loss had declined from the previous year. So even though it made a net loss, this was an improvement over that of the previous year. Now, the Ghana Highway Authority is 100% state-owned. Ghana Highway Authority's main objective is to provide road infrastructure engineering and management services, project appraisal, feasibility studies and detailed design, contract preparation and administration, maintenance and operation, civil engineering materials prospecting and testing for roads, bridges, road safety. The least cost to support, so what they're supposed to do, it should be at the best value with the least cost to support the socio-economic development of Ghana and beyond.
Right.
I'm drilling down to the point where the Ghana Highway Authority made a loss of 6.20 million, what they call it, cedis, and that is it. So 6.20 million is what they made as net loss there. And for fairness sake, I'm making this point to suggest that on account of its inability to control costs, that is what the report says. GHA reported a deficit of 6.20 million in 2019 financial year. This was an increase of 1,450% further decline in deficit from 0.40 posted in the previous year. And this is, and I mentioned the other institution that some institutions have made improvements. In this case, the improvement did not happen in the net loss. In fact, for some reason, there was an increase in the net loss here, which to a very large extent was to the point of 1,450%, as the report is quoting.
Right.
Now, let me move to another company that we would deal with. And maybe the net loss situation here is also a bit interesting for many to appreciate. And this is related to, well, I've done bust, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I can skip bust and go to other institutions that on the record have not done as well as many would have thought they were supposed to do, or based on their position does not show a very wonderful picture for us to have. There are others that quickly would. So let me deal with GNPA. The GNPA Limited was initially established as the Ghana National Procurement Agency. But it went through some of its primary purpose was to import selected consumer products in large quantities for sale to the Ghanaian population at affordable rates. Now, in 1998, the company was transformed into a limited liability company with the Ghana as the sole shareholder. The transformation was to enable the business operate independently in the open market, as well as building its competitiveness and sustainability. The main point to note from GNPA's engagement is that it made a net loss of 3.97 million, almost 4 million. And its profitability position showed that GNPA recorded net losses for both 2018 and 2019 fiscal years. And this represents 647% further decline in net loss. So that is the observation on the GNPA. Now, because I mentioned GNPC made profit.
Yeah.
So let me quickly mention that so that nobody construes that to be that.
Exactly.
Yeah, GNPC made a net profit of 69 million. So that's important to note. Of course, we are not dwelling on the ones that made the profit because of the conversation we are having.
But let's look at the Ghana Water Company Limited.
Yes. Oh, I was in the energy, but okay, no problem. You can mention the Ghana Water Company.
Ghana Water Company.
Yes.
Because we've been, we're looking at entities
those who
that
have made net losses.
Yeah. And it's very instructive because the Ghana Water Company Limited. Let me just get to that. So this is the Ghana Water Company Limited. And the Ghana Water Company Limited made a net loss of, and so the Ghana Water Company Limited, is to ensure that they're able to provide water to you and me so that we get water. Now, they made a net loss of 1,000,000,006 million. 1,000,000,006 million.
A Ghana Water Company. Yeah.
Yes, and this is it. So their revenue declined by 0.52% from 934 million in 2018 to 929 million in 2019. We're told revenue fluctuated throughout the review period, with 2016 recording the highest increase of 142%. And the direct cost increased by 1.56% from 1,233 million to 1,253 million. And direct cost also increased throughout the period. We are told that the operational cost was 683 million, which represented an increase of 85% over the 2018 figure. And profitability, I've already told you that, it posted earnings before interest and tax margin of 104.8% in 2019 and posted a loss of 1,000,000,006,000,000, representing a 50.75 increase in net loss from the 2018 figure of 667.93 million.
I think that some clarifications are required here, not specifically related to this one. One, this is a 2019 report.
Yes.
We have not seen the 2020 report because it's not published by government. The Ministry of Finance or the SIGA has not put out those reports. Of course, I mean, COVID can explain what happens in 2020. We would not have a 2021 report. So this is the latest the government has produced of our state-owned enterprises, joint venture companies, and that's what we are stressing on that. So that people already asking why not 2020 and I mean all of that should be mindful of that. This is the report most available.
Yeah.
And the point
This
here
is
is
the
to show.
latest one, yeah.
Yes. Now, Northern Electricity Distribution Company. As
By
we
the
move
way,
from water.
just forgive me.
Yes.
You give us a lot of information, but the highlight, the net loss of the Ghana Water Company was over 1 billion Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how much they lost in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go
So
on.
we all know NECO, so it might not require telling us their what they call it, EROs and all of that.
Yeah, let's just go through the numbers.
The net loss is 235.30 million. That is the Northern. Of course, I mean, if you look at it keenly, the revenue for the increased from 545 million in 2018 to 624 million in 2019, representing some 14% growth. On the other side, direct cost was a 17.30% increase from 786 million in 2018 to 923 million. So there's a reason for the purchase of electricity increased by 24% between 2018 and 2019. Purchase of electricity accounted for 51.84% of the direct cost. And perhaps that's the important clarification here. Purchase of electricity accounted for more than half of the direct cost. Depreciation and the cost of production decreased in this case, and depreciation and the cost of production accounted for 14.92% of the direct costs. The operational expenditure is also explained here. There is a point they made on profitability, which drums home the net loss situation we are talking about. It says NETCO incurred a net loss of 235 million in 2019, which was a further decline of 16.93% from the net loss of 200 million in 2018. So if the highlight is there, this is where I mean, okay, there's a slight explanation for it. The increase in net loss resulted in an increase in net loss margin of 36.88% in 2018 to 37.69%, representing a 0.81% increase. And the liquidity position is also indicated there. So that is it for the operations of the grouping NETCO. NETCO is Northern Electricity Distribution Company. For most people in Northern Ghana, though, very much identify with that, like the way those in Southern Ghana identify with ECG. Yeah.
Let me quickly tell you how Tema Oil Refinery performed in 2019. Now, they made a loss as well, a net loss of 546.24 million Ghana cedis. Okay, their turnover was about 272 million. It's a 100% state-owned company. We all know what TOR is supposed to do. They did have a change in leadership in December 2019. But by that point, obviously, the financial year had come to an end. And their revenue went down by 3.87% from the previous year. But it's just interesting. These are companies that don't have competitors in the market for what they do, you know. But somehow they are not making a profit. Valco made a net loss of 241 million Ghana cedis.
Maybe I referenced, but yesterday we talked about how youth development programs and also skills development programs are faring. Now, one that caught my attention is the Venture Capital Trust Fund. It made a net loss of 2.99 million. And the report suggests that it records a net loss of 2.99 million in 2019. This was a further decline of 36.53% from the net loss reported in 2018. And that is what the report says. For you to know, if you have not heard, because we mentioned it yesterday, the Venture Capital Trust Fund is focused on financial resources for the development and promotion of venture capital financing for SMEs in Ghana, small and medium enterprises, by providing A, financing to eligible venture capital finance companies to support SMEs, and B, financial support to other activities and programs for the promotion of venture capital financing. And that is what the venture capital does, with the net loss of some 2.99, almost 3 million cedis here. Now, there's one, of course, I've seen one also on the National Theatre, which made a net loss of 0.33 million here.
330,000 Ghana cedis
Yes. That's National Theatre in 2019.
Raymond, do you know the Volta Lake Transport Company?
I've heard of it.
Okay, this is my first time hearing.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
But this is a company that's 100% owned by Ghana government. They are responsible for river transportation of passengers, bulk haulage of petroleum products, and significant quantities of cement and cross-lake ferry services along the Volta Lake. Okay, that's what they do.
Okay.
They lost 12.47 million Ghana cedis last year.
Okay.
So look, it goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
VRA made a profit.
Okay.
Well done to them.
And maybe the last one I should mention here is the Pse Therma Shipyard. It made a net loss of 9.21 million cedis.
Okay.
And the report actually suggests that it reported a negative EBITDA of 7.29 in 2019. This was a 200% decline from the EBITDA of 2018. And of course, EBITDAs are earnings before income, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So yes, that is the profitability position of the Pse Therma Shipyard.
Okay, so we've taken you through a lot of detail, but the highlights are very simple.
Yeah.
All of these enterprises are owned by the state. They are operated under performance contracts, and they are supposed to be run as commercial entities. That means they are not operating for charity. They are not operating for free. They are not giving out services free of charge. They are supposed to turn a profit.
Yeah.
They have targets. But in the year 2019, before COVID, it's important to note, altogether, these companies lost a whopping total of 586 million Ghana cedis. But that's even an improvement, because the year before, 2018, they lost 1.375 billion Ghana cedis. Companies being operated by people paid salaries often higher than the salaries of a minister.
MPs, ministers, sometimes even the president.
Yes, these people are paid very well to run these organizations, but they are losing us money. What's happening, and what happens to them? Who is managing them, and how come they are performing to such standards? Also, this report talks about regulatory violations.
That's true.
So simple things like presenting their financials.
Yeah.
They don't do it. Some haven't presented financials
For almost 5 years.
since 2016. And nothing has happened to them. What kind of ship are we running here? And what does this mean for a country that is seeking revenue? Look, we are introducing new taxes. New taxes just because we have a big hole to fill. And we have state-owned enterprises that are supposed to generate funds for us, and they can lose over 1 billion cedis in 1 year.
I mean, the comparison here is that if the people involved were running private businesses, will they have the same leeway to operate it for the years that they've run the losses that we're talking about and for the amounts involved? Sometimes also because we have heard some of them complain that unnecessary partisan or political interference makes it impossible for them to deliver. there has also been a very big question about whether we have the best people managing these companies. So what we have not told you is that the report includes not only the directors, as in the people who are managing directors, but also the board members.
It's all here.
Yeah, it's
all
in
here.
there. If you grab a copy of the report, you are more likely to question some of the people who have been appointed to some of these boards and ask, what role is this particular gentleman playing in this entity to help it achieve its aim? And all the things that follow from there. So it's almost like state enterprises, some of them. And in fact, there's a huge, because if the overall picture was net profit, we wouldn't be having the conversation of identifying the groups that have made the losses, because it would have been an unfair picture. The reason why we have to identify the ones that have made the losses here and share some of them with you is because even though some made profit, the overall picture is one of loss. And that is what every state should be interested in fixing. Do we put the right people there? Have we evolved a system where they are very accountable? Are people held responsible? So assuming you went for an AGM like most of these institutions do, what really would you tell your directors and the people in charge? SIGA was put together to make sure, and for a very long time, we've not had some of these reports being published, let's be clear. And we are not being necessarily alarmed, but because we do not have the picture, and many people in the country Ghana today do also not know the realities on the ground. So that's one side of the picture. So having a report like this out ordinarily should influence major changes. It should influence the people who are put there, make them accountable, make sure that the institutions are functioning properly. Some of the institutions have institutions like TOR. We've even taken taxes to help it out before. In fact, remember the TOR debt recovery levy that we put in on our, energy sector levies for a very long time. And yet...
Has it been removed?
We inculcated it under other... In fact, we reformed the levies and put it under other ones. But and yet, some of them are still functioning within this space. How is it possible that we are not making sure that these companies turn profit? What do we tell the stakeholders? With the Ghanaian people, what are we told consistently about these companies? Imagine this was your private company, and I'm sure a lot of CEOs will be listening. What is the easiest reaction for the stakeholders? What do you tell them when you go to meetings that are important? Are you telling them about political influence? Are you telling them about systemic difficulties that you cannot overcome, and so you still should remain in office and do the things you are doing differently? So these are the important questions. In fact, we can blame central government. We can pretend that the president in his office can control all of these. But we know that people have been appointed to do specific work. And the excuse of political interference, the response is that you have not left the office. You are still there. If you cannot do your job properly, you are still in the role. You are still taking salary for being in the role. How is it that some are turning profits and others are not turning profits?
Now, in 2021, as in 2020, these companies were made to sign performance contract agreements between SIGA, State Interest and Governance Authority, and 71 of the state-owned enterprises. Now, the thing that I notice is that, first of all, the 71 doesn't cover all of our state-owned enterprises.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So some of them didn't even come and sign.
Yeah.
How can you...
I had one of the leadership complain that they were sanctioning people who are not available there. They would deal with those who have not submitted their financial reports. But we know that the issue of even financial reports go way back, right?
Let me tell you what's happening with financial reports. 47 state-owned enterprises have not submitted their annual financial statements to the finance ministry for 5 years. 47 of them. They haven't even bothered to submit their statements for 5 years. Okay. And out of 126 SOEs in the year 2019, only 14 of them submitted their financials. Only 14 out of 126 of them. Only 14.
The little I know in company law, for example, is that the director's responsibility includes submitting the financials to stakeholders. and that it's a major role. If you decide not to do it, there should be very good reasons why you should stay in that particular office. It's almost like breaching a major responsibility you have. How is it possible that you're not accounting to the people that put you in office, and yet you remain comfortably in office? What are the limitations of having not to submit a financial report? And why is it not featuring in the reports that are supposed to be out there?
So how many of these directors were sanctioned in 2019 for letting the whole financial year pass without submitting their financial?
It's not as if you shut down completely. You operated. And even if you shut down completely, there's a report on you, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so, I mean, this is the state of things. This is how they are performing. But we want to know what your take is on this. I mean, if these companies were presented to you as investment options, would you invest? When we come back from these messages, you can tell us what you think.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glycolife, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Hello?
Hello.
You have reached the police. How may we...
They have taken everything.
What have they taken exactly?
My 65 higher TV, my 2.5 higher AC.
The TV, was it the higher 4K UHD smart TV?
Yes, with my voice control.
And the AC, was it the energy efficient R410 gas?
Oh, officer, are you already aware of this case?
No, my brother. People, they rush by and are even calling for security to protect their higher appliances.
Everyone loves the best. Visit higher showrooms located at La, Achimota, Spintex, Tamale, Kumasi, and Takrady. Call us today on 0302 778126 for all your premium higher home appliances at unbelievable prices.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM. In your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
It's the Super Morning Show on Joy, and in a moment, we'd love to hear what you think about all that we've shared with you about the performance of state-owned enterprises. But first, let me remind you something big is happening next week. Are you ready for it? What do you get when you cross a world-class life insurance company and a banking giant? If you're not sure, just watch out for the big news in the coming days. For more information, call 0302-267-892 or just go to allianz-gh.com. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
So Selfline is giving you 60 gigabyte free data when you buy a new device, and never wondered how many hours of free data that is? Okay, so let me tell you. 24 hours for your favorite movies or series on Netflix or YouTube in HD quality for free. Raymond, pay attention. You like Netflix, so this is for free. 1,523 hours. Have I said anything untrue? You like Netflix?
Yes. I'm unsure why you were stressing about that.
Well, I just wanted.
If I paid attention when you mentioned,
Netflix. You like Netflix, so I don't even have an account. So
you don't have an account. So where do you watch your documentaries?
Oh, my documentaries.
Yeah. Apart from the ones that are here.
Apart from the ones that the ones that they send to me, and the ones that I look for on YouTube and all of that, I watch them. I watch them with my data, like that.
Anyway.
1,523 hours to stream any of your hip life, high life, rap, jazz, reggae, balogo, and any genre of music for free. 200 hours of WhatsApp or FaceTime calls to connect with family and friends for that kokonsa for free, and 20 hours to host your video conferences on Zoom or whichever video application you use. You know, time is everything, and it's the hours that count. Let Surfline be the power behind your need to connect, learn, and be entertained for longer hours than any network. Buy your Surfline device from Surfline shops and retail outlets today. Nothing works better than Surfline. Surfline, better together.
Okay.
So there are a lot of messages. Let me get into them. Lots of messages on whether you would want to buy shares in Ghana. And at rogue_G says, I would never attempt to buy any shares of any company with Ghana even attached to it. We're asking the question whether Ghana, not the company with Ghana attached to it. Natea Sean says, not only would I refuse to buy any shares in such underperforming company, I would also call on the various men manning those companies to be severely queried and sanctioned. At Kweku_Free says, I have never believed in government or state-owned businesses. There's so much inefficiencies. I prefer capitalism. At Davis Joshua says, a big no. And the _Yoming says, that's what you get from leaders who hate the word accountability or transparency. They don't want to have others in check lest the people demand they be checked too. Sadly, this won't end anytime soon. Congrats to those who survived. And Shrabayao says, buying shares in Ghana, I will rather sell Sobolo. And Frank Newman says, someone will be spending my money just like the way they spend our tax money. Charles Agenzia says, crass incompetence is an understatement. And at Kojosaki says, by the end of the year, they will sell the country. At _4 says, wait, water companies lost like what? 1,000 million? Yes, that's true. It's a billion. Okay, so the phone lines have been activated on 0302-216-541.
And no, it was not in 2019 they gave us a free water.
No.
Yes, so we are clear.
They lost that money before they gave us free water.
Yes, before they gave us
we
the
don't
free water.
come and do any, we have given you
0302-216-541, 055-1111-997. The phone lines have been activated. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Whether you're prepared to buy shares in Ghana Inc., Ghana Incorporated.
Yeah, so some headlines while we're waiting for our first call. So ECG was one of the biggest losers, 922 million. 922 million Ghana cedis loss in the year 2019 alone. And then, Ghana Water Company was another big loser. But before we get to that, Ghana Airport Company lost 189.66 million. Can you imagine? GBC lost a little bit. But I'm looking for the Ghana Water Company. By the way, the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company also lost about 5.19 million Ghana cedis in 2019. Ben is in Adenta. Hi, Ben. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Not bad at all, Ben. Oh, it's good to hear from you again. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well. And it's good to have you back on Joy FM.
It's great to be back.
A couple of weeks ago, I wasn't hearing from you.
Yeah.
Well, it is amazing. And this report, I think, should always be hammered on. If we can dedicate our programs to this kind of talks, I think it will go a long way to help us. As rightly said, these individuals, Cocoa Board, the CEO, I think Dr. Opuni was taking over 80,000 cities, if I'm right, a month, and it takes so much money, yet they are unable to produce anything and nobody checks them because these are political appointments and you always see the wrong people at post. And if we talk, then we are taken off air. And in journalism, you have Paul Adom Ochri at Ghana Airport. I don't know the kind of qualification he has in aviation. The last time I checked, he doesn't have anything like that. This guy, Kwame Sevakai, Pse FM, is at National Petroleum Authority. I don't know the kind of qualification he has. The last time I checked, he didn't do anything petroleum. So if you are having people like this put into board, sometimes I wonder what they are going to produce. These are just political appointments. They get in there, look at their selfish interests, and that is resulting in their losses. How can you be making losses as an agency or a company? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And you don't produce your annual report for years, really, and you are still there and nobody checks them. How come? The buck should stop with the president, because he is the one who makes these appointments. So the question should be, why do you make such appointments? You don't give them any performance contract. There is no appraisal, nothing, and they sit in the office. They are in bungalows. They enjoy everything. They are in big cars. They employ their people. I mean, they travel abroad for capacity training every now and then. They are always traveling, yet they are making losses. What kind of, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, thank you, Ben. Let me give some information there. Paul Adumoche was not the board chair of the Ghana Airport Company at the time they made these losses. The board chair was Madam Uboshi Sai Kofi. The MD was Mr. Yao Kwakwa. And I can name some directors, Mr. Kwejo Owusu Cheneboa, Mr. Fori Kofi Newman, Mr. Kwabna Mante Jekti Nyako, Ms. Christina Edmond, Group Captain Fred Odoy Wellington. These were the board members at the time they made this loss that we mentioned, 100 and something million cedis. Kwabna is on the line. Hi, Kwabna. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Please pardon me for my voice. For those of us who are in the formal sector, where we pay taxes on monthly basis, when we hear things of this nature, our hearts actually bleed. You understand? Because it's just unfortunate. We sweat out our blood, and then we have people living in luxury who are not accountable to anybody. I mean, they just use our resources anyhow. At the end of the day, the Plaster House do not question them. I mean, for anything. You see, that tells us that the seat of government itself is not accountable. Why would you have an organization of this nature running losses for 5 years continuous and nobody has been brought to book? What sort of nation is this? What sort of nation is this? And the same day they brought what is the name of this man? They created an organization. How do you call it? A team that supervises these same people, Asabi and so on. Created a whole ministry and giving them money again. For what? Let's be careful, Let's be careful. One day, somebody will take a gun in Ghana.
We certainly are not aiming for that at all. That's not what we desire. I think you are referring to SIGA. That's the institution that is run by Mr. Samoa Boateng, and they are responsible for all states.
Recently, he had indicated he has left the place. Yeah.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, recently he had indicated he has left the place.
Okay. Kofi is in Klagon. Hi, Kofi. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Chief. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Kofi. Thanks for calling us.
In fact, I appreciate the work you are doing, and I will challenge Joy FM, which I know you rise above the cloud, to raise this one to a higher stake level. I would like Joy FM to take it as a challenge to organize stakeholders meeting and involve our foreign partners into it and bring these things out for them to see how much money we are losing. Because, in fact, when we name and shame, it natural way has way of gagging people this way. By the way, the total amount we lost 2019, when you compare it to how much we are spending for the e-levy, what is the ratio, please? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We lost about 581 million Ghana cedis in 2019. Yeah. We are hoping to raise about 6.8 billion Ghana cedis from the e-levy. So that's the comparison. The biggest loser in the year 2019 actually lost almost twice as much as our total loss overall. And that's the Ghana Water Company. They lost 1.006 billion Ghana cedis in 1 year. That's how much they lost. And at the time, the board chair was Mr. Alexander Afenyo-Markin. And the MD was Dr. Clifford Brymer. Here are some directors. Kwame Ampofu-Chumesi, who I believe is an MP. Mr. Michael Ayensu, Mr. Noah Tumfo, Professor Foster Sapong, Ms. Maria Abba Lovelace Johnson, and Nabasigri Bewong, Mr. Clement Alosibuno Kaba, and Mrs. Serena Kwachiminta, Mr. Alex K.B. Bonney. It's a 100% owned company, government-owned company. Claude is in Tema. Hi, Claude. Good morning. I think we lost Claude there. Please call us back if you can. We'd love to hear your thoughts on all this. By the way, Ghana Water Company was by far the biggest loser in 2019. We'll have a look at 2018 as well and tell you who was our biggest loser there. Claude is back on the line. Hi, Claude. Good morning.
Yeah, Winston, how are you doing?
It's Kojo, and we're fine. Winston is here too.
Oh, Kojo. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kojo, I think if we identify a problem, I don't think we should still be talking about it because the problem are the losses. The thing as Ghanaians should do is to offer solutions. Now, most people are blaming the constitution of many of the boards, that the right people are not being put in. So I think going forward, if there is a board to be set up, I think the positions need to be advertised so that the requisite people with the requisite expertise are appointed, not political people who haven't done anything related to their field of operation they will be in. And I think when you do that, it will be okay. Then lastly, the one who talked about putting a gun to the people's head, you know, the revolution and what happened in this country, I don't think those who are calling it's going to happen, knew what happened. I think we should stop those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling us, Claude. Thanks to all of you who called us this morning. I wish we could spend a bit more time taking calls. I'm very interested in your views here. But one thing I think we all agree on is that this should be the beginning of a long conversation. Because, I mean, the more you think about it, okay, we are actually talking about the management of commercial entities here.
Yeah.
Entities that were set up to make profit for Ghana so that we can pay our bills as a nation, so that we don't have to overtax our population, so that we can have hospitals, roads, schools, the things that we deserve as a country. But these companies are operating at a loss and there seems to be no accountability. Where are we going wrong here? Is it just the human resources? Is it just the people we are hiring that are wrong? What else are we doing wrong? Do we have poor business plans? Are we perhaps not targeting the right markets? Is it competition? Are we not dealing properly with our competition? Is it regulation or a lack of it? Where are we going wrong in the management of our state-owned enterprise? Is it the finances? Are we perhaps underfunding these institutions or overfunding them? Where are we going wrong? Is it procurement? So you see, there are several layers to unpick. And I think in the coming days, for quite a while, we can actually occupy ourselves with these conversations and find solutions. This is not about making one person look bad over the other. As you can tell, these problems have persisted for years, years and years. So this is not about making one person look bad or comparing one person's. We just want to figure it out. Why are we operating state-owned enterprises at a loss? Why? Why? So there's a lot to discuss, and in the coming days, we'll do a lot more, won't we, Raymond?
Certainly we'll do so. All right. Basically, we need to get to the bottom of it for Ghana's sake.
And we will do just that. Thank you so much for staying with us. We've got a couple of messages before we wrap it up. We've done our messages. Good. So we're going to hand over to DJ Wubete to bow us out beautifully with some music. It's been a pleasure bringing you the Super Morning Show. We're back with more tomorrow, but stay with Joy for the duration. My name is Kojo Youngson. I'm the morning man on behalf of the whole team. God bless you. Enjoy your day.
Step up your entertainment from the 5th of January 2022. Already on GoTV Value? Then upgrade to GoTV Plus to watch GoTV Max. Or if you're on GoTV Plus, upgrade to GoTV Max to enjoy GoTV Super. Don't wait. Reconnect